It was a chilly autumn afternoon in New York City, and dark clouds loomed over the bustling streets. People hurried past, shielding themselves from the first drops of rain. Among them was Emily, a kind-hearted young girl who always believed in helping others, no matter how small the gesture. As she stood under the awning of a cafe, she noticed an elderly man struggling without an umbrella. Without hesitation, she stepped forward, offering him her own. She had no idea that this simple act of kindness would change her life forever. The next day, Emily woke up to an unexpected surprise, one that would prove that generosity never goes unnoticed. The elderly man hesitated for a moment, looking at the girl with kind yet tired eyes. His suit, though elegant, was damp from the drizzle, and his silver hair clung to his forehead. "You don't have to do this, young lady," he said with a gentle smile. Emily shook her head and insisted, "Please take it. I live just a few blocks away. I'll be fine." The man accepted the umbrella with gratitude. "Thank you," he said warmly. "Kindness like yours is rare these days." With a final nod, he walked off into the rain, disappearing into the city's endless movement. Emily thought nothing more of it, simply happy to have helped someone in need. The next morning, as she prepared to leave for school, a sleek black car pulled up in front of her family's small apartment building. A well-dressed man stepped out and approached her mother, handing her an envelope with a golden seal. Confused, Emily's mother opened it and gasped. Inside was a handwritten letter and a check, an amount so large it didn't seem real. Emily's heart pounded as she read the words. "Dear Emily, your small act of kindness reminded me of something priceless, that true wealth is found in the goodness of the heart. I hope this helps you pursue your dreams. Keep shining. Sincerely, Richard Sterling." Emily's eyes widened. Richard Sterling, the name was everywhere. He was one of the richest men in America, a billionaire known for his philanthropy, and she had given him her umbrella without a second thought. Tears welled up in her mother's eyes as she looked at her daughter with pride. But Emily, despite the overwhelming shock, only smiled softly. She hadn't helped the man for a reward, and yet kindness had found its way back to her in the most unexpected way. Emily stood frozen, staring at the letter in disbelief. Her mother wiped her tears and held the check with trembling hands. This is real?" her mother whispered. Emily wasn't sure what to feel. The amount written on the check could change their lives. It could pay off their overdue rent, buy enough groceries for months, and even help Emily go to a good school. Yet, deep inside, she wasn't excited about the money. It was the words in the letter that touched her heart the most. She had always believed in kindness, in doing good without expecting anything in return. And now, this simple belief had led to something extraordinary. Later that day, another surprise awaited her. A call came from an unknown number. Hesitantly, her mother answered. "Hello, this is Mr. Sterling," a deep, familiar voice said. Emily's breath hitched. "I would like to invite you and Emily to lunch tomorrow," the billionaire continued. "There's something important I'd love to discuss with her." Her mother exchanged glances with Emily. They had never imagined speaking to someone so powerful and influential. Yet, there was warmth in his voice, not as a billionaire, but as an old man who had been touched by a young girl's kindness. The next day, Emily found herself standing in front of one of the most luxurious restaurants in New York. She wore her best dress, though it was simple compared to the lavish surroundings. Her mother held her hand tightly as they stepped inside. At a private table near the window, Richard Sterling sat waiting. His presence wasn't intimidating. If anything, he looked even more humble than before. As Emily and her mother sat down, he smiled warmly. "You know, Emily," he began, "when you handed me that umbrella, you reminded me of someone I lost a long time ago, my daughter." Emily's eyes widened. She hadn't expected this. "She was just like you," he continued, his voice tinged with sadness. "Kind, selfless, always helping others. I lost her many years ago, but for a brief moment, when you showed me that kindness, I felt her presence again." Emily felt a lump in her throat. "I don't want your kindness to go unnoticed," Mr. Sterling said, looking at her intently. "I want to help you, not just with money, but with an opportunity." Emily's heart pounded. "What kind of opportunity?" she asked softly. The old man smiled. "A chance to learn, to grow, and to make a difference in the world. I run a foundation that helps young people like you, those with big hearts and bright minds. If you're willing, I'd love for you to be part of it." Emily's mother gasped, her hands covering her mouth. Emily, overwhelmed, could barely speak. This wasn't just about a reward, it was about something bigger than she had ever imagined. She had simply given away an umbrella, but in return, she was given a door to a future she never thought possible. And at that moment, she realized something powerful. Kindness always finds its way back, sometimes in the most extraordinary ways. Emily sat in stunned silence, absorbing Mr. Sterling's words. She had never imagined that a simple act of kindness could open such a door. Her mother finally found her voice. "Mr. Sterling, this is unbelievable. But why us? There are so many others who need help." Mr. Sterling nodded thoughtfully. "That's exactly why I want to help Emily. The world needs more people like her. People who give without expecting anything in return. If she's willing, I want to support her education, mentor her, and give her the tools to make an even greater impact in the future." Emily's heart raced. The idea of being part of something bigger, of learning and growing in ways she never thought possible, was overwhelming. But then a thought struck her. "Mr. Sterling," she said hesitantly, "if you really want to help, can we make this about more than just me?" The billionaire raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "Go on." Emily took a deep breath. "There are so many kids in my neighborhood who don't get the same chances as others. Some are really smart, but they don't have the money to go to good schools. Some have dreams, but no one believes in them. If you're offering to help me, can we help them too?" For a moment there was silence. Mr. Sterling studied her carefully, his eyes glistening with something unreadable. Perhaps admiration, perhaps deep emotion. Then, a slow smile spread across his face. "You truly are remarkable, Emily," he said softly. "Most people would have accepted the offer for themselves, but you're thinking of others." He leaned forward. "All right, let's do it. Together." Emily's eyes widened. "Really?" Mr. Sterling nodded. "I started from nothing too, you know. Someone gave me a chance once, and I built everything I have today because of it. Maybe it's time I do the same for the next generation." He pulled out a card and slid it across the table. This is the number of my foundation's director. I want you to work with them. Tell me which kids in your neighborhood need help, and we'll start there." Emily's hands trembled as she picked up the card. She had walked into this restaurant expecting a simple thank you. Instead, she was leaving with an opportunity to change not just her life, but the lives of so many others. Her mother squeezed her hand, pride shining in her eyes. Mr. Sterling smiled once more. "And Emily, never stop being who you are. The world needs more kindness like yours." As they left the restaurant, stepping into the golden afternoon sunlight, Emily looked up at the sky. The same sky where, just a day ago, dark clouds had gathered, leading her to help a stranger. And now, with a future brighter than she had ever imagined, she understood. Sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness create ripples that change the world. And her journey was only just beginning. The next few weeks felt like a dream. Emily met with the director of Mr. Sterling's foundation, a kind woman named Mrs. Carter, who listened intently as Emily shared stories of the kids in her neighborhood, her friends, classmates, and even strangers who deserved a chance. One by one, the foundation started reaching out. Scholarships were set up. School supplies were provided. Tutoring programs began for children who had fallen behind. The tiny act of offering an umbrella had blossomed into something so much bigger than Emily could have ever imagined. But with great opportunity came great responsibility. One evening, as Emily walked home, she overheard a conversation between two boys from her school. "Of course she got lucky," one of them muttered. "She helped some rich guy, and now she's special? What about the rest of us?" Emily's heart sank. She had never wanted to be seen as someone who only succeeded because of luck. She wanted to prove that kindness wasn't about rewards. It was about doing the right thing no matter what. That night, as she sat at her small desk, she pulled out a notebook and wrote a single question at the top of the page. How can I help people help themselves? She didn't want her friends to feel left behind. She wanted them to have opportunities not because of luck, but because they worked for it just like she would. The next day, she nervously called Mr. Sterling. "Emily," he greeted warmly, "how are things going?" "They're going well, sir," she said, "but I have an idea, and I need your help." "I'm listening." Emily took a deep breath. "I don't just want kids in my neighborhood to get help. I want them to learn how to help each other. What if, instead of just scholarships, we also taught them leadership? Gave them a chance to take charge of their own futures? What if we started something that could keep going, even long after we're gone?" There was silence on the other end. Then Mr. Sterling chuckled softly. "Emily, you think like a true leader." She smiled, relieved. "I love your idea," he continued. "Let's build something sustainable, something that doesn't just give help, but teaches young people how to create opportunities for themselves and others." And so the Young Leaders Initiative was born. At first, it started small, just a few kids gathering at the local library, learning about leadership, problem solving, and community service. But soon, word spread. More kids joined. Volunteers stepped in. Even local businesses offered support. Emily wasn't just receiving help anymore. She was building something that would outlast her, something that would continue to grow long after she was gone. One day, as she walked past the same cafe where she had once given her umbrella away, she realized something. A single moment of kindness had not only changed her life but had created a ripple effect, touching the lives of so many others. And this was only the beginning. Years passed, and the young leader's initiative grew beyond anything Emily had imagined. What started as a small program in her neighborhood had expanded to schools across the city, empowering young people to take charge of their futures. Emily, now a young woman, had become a mentor to others, guiding kids who once felt invisible, just as she had. But despite the success, she never let go of the core belief that started it all. Kindness, no matter how small, had the power to change lives. One crisp autumn morning, Emily received a letter. It was from Mr. Sterling. Dear Emily, watching you grow into the leader you are today has been one of the greatest joys of my life. You have taken an act of kindness and turned it into a movement, something far greater than I ever imagined. I am proud of you, but now it is time for me to step back. Age is catching up with me, and I have decided to retire. My last wish before I do is to officially pass the foundation into your hands. I have no doubt that you will continue to guide it with the same heart that made me believe in you all those years ago. With gratitude, Richard Sterling. Tears welled up in Emily's eyes. She hadn't just gained a mentor, she had gained a lifelong friend. Mr. Sterling had changed her life, but in return, she had given him something too: hope that kindness could live on through the next generation. A week later, she visited him at his countryside home. Though older now, his eyes still shone with the same warmth she remembered. You've done more than I ever could, Emily, he said softly. She smiled, holding his hand. I only followed the lesson you taught me. He chuckled. No, my dear, you taught me. A peaceful silence settled between them. As Emily looked out the window, watching golden leaves drift in the wind, she realized something profound. Kindness was not about rewards. It was not about luck. It was about creating something bigger than oneself. And now she had the chance to do the same for others. As she left that day, walking toward a future filled with endless possibilities, she passed by a small shop where a little girl stood in the rain, shivering without an umbrella. Emily didn't hesitate. She stepped forward, gently placing her own umbrella in the little girl's hands. The girl looked up at her in surprise. But what about you? Emily smiled, remembering the moment that had changed her life. I'll be just fine, she said. And as she walked away, the rain falling softly around her, she knew that somewhere, another story of kindness had just begun.